for my fifth general heathen topic tonight, I'm going to talk about relating to the gods. For many heathens, the model they have is that the gods are our ultimate ancestors, and therefore we relate to them as we would to older members of our family. One danger in that is that many of us moderns don't have a very good relationship with our family and don't have necessarily good models for how to relate to older family members with respect. Also, are the gods really our literal ancestors? They transformed Ask and Embla. But unless we're pretty darn sure that we're descended from a royal line and that Odin or King Freyr or Serksnit was in fact the progenitor of that line, it's pushing it a little to say that we have literal ancestry from the gods. Be that as it may, was that how the ancient heathens related to them? We don't see the ancient heathens talking in the sagas about the gods as their great-aunt or their great-great-grandfather. They talk of them rather as rein, the powers, or as bund or haft, those to whom they are bound. Bound in the sense of a marriage bond, the bond between blood brothers, and indeed a family bond. Those to whom we feel connected. Perhaps a better model might be one's chosen family, a dear friend for whom one would give one's last dollar, a dear friend to whom one would listen on a serious topic, or a mentor, or a master, as in the master-apprentice relationship. This might make us think twice about pestering the gods with our personal concerns all the time. They have wider and more important things to think about than our love lives or whether we should take a job offer. We should be a little more reluctant to ask them to solve the minutiae of our lives, especially when we think about how they too are bound by weird. Weird gives us the freedom to forge our own lives. The gods gave us the freedom to forge our own lives when they gave us the power of reasoning and the power of movement and human form. Another way of thinking of it is that the gods are all pervasive. It's not like in Catholicism with the saints, where you think of a different saint every day of the year, or where a particular saint is your patron and you don't think of many others. The days of the week, 6 out of 7, are named for our gods and goddesses, but that doesn't mean you only think about Thor on a Thursday and you have to think about Frigg on a Friday. Those are in fact translations by the medieval church that needed terms for the days of the week and translated from the Roman ones to the Germanic ones, except for Saturn, on which they gave up. Rather, what we see the ancient heathens doing in the lore is being aware of how the gods relate to everything they do. When it thunders, you think of Thor, that's obvious. As you do your daily chores, you think of Frigg, Holder and Percht. As you plant, who do you think of? Do you think of Freyr? I think it's a good practice to nudge yourself to do that as much as you can. To think whose inspiration could help me with this? Who might be related to this? That also helps with the problem of the habit based on allegory from the 16th century onwards, or on 19th century theories about how polytheism is simplistic religion for simple-minded people and a stage out of which nations grow. The habit of trying to stuff a god into a box based on a job he does or something she's associated with. Freya is a lot more than a love goddess. Thor is a lot more than the thunder he produces. Odin has only one eye, but that doesn't mean he doesn't see well. We should beware of belittling our gods because scholars have sought to sum them up in a few words and move on to the next part of the theory. Or because they have tried to see the big picture of an entire pantheon at one time, doesn't mean we have to. To us, these are our gods and goddesses. We revere them just as much as adherents of any other religion revere their gods, goddesses, singular, plural, or dual. Possibly that's why some people use the model of the ancestor, if that helps them to relate to the gods in a spirit of reverence and of love. More power to it. It helps also to think in terms of, you give gifts to your grandmother. You don't constantly have your hand out expecting her to give to you. That give and take is the basis of heathen offerings. We give because we love, because we think of them, and we don't always ask for something. But there should also be a constant awareness that the gods are vastly powerful. They can be scary. No matter how earthy they may be, or how much they may remind us of our own lives, writ on a larger scale, they're nonetheless other, they're divine. One of the names of Odin is Ig, the terrifying. Others of our gods can be terrifying, our goddesses too. And finally, it's getting late. I think we should be aware that, we should remind ourselves how little we know. The gods are already immensely wiser than we are. Time passes differently for them also. Our lives must seem very short to them. But also, how much lore have we lost? We have more left than many other religions do, but we don't know as much as the ancient heathens did. There are passages in the Eddas that we don't know what the meaning is. How much have we lost? What mistakes are we making based on imperfect information? We should be all the more leery of thinking that we can know our gods completely and sum them up in a few words based on the fact that we demonstrably don't know enough.